Hi, I'm Justin at Sun Mountain Sports. Been in the quality department here for 18 years, and I'm going to show you how to replace a brake cable. I have a number 2 Phillips and a number 3mm Allen head. And we're going to start by pulling the screws loose on the upper handle. And we're going to push this little wedge here out. You see it come out. Now you can start pulling your cable through the guides. Okay, now we're down here at the bottom, and we're going to use our number 3mm to loosen this Allen head. You need to just loosen it enough that the brake cable pulls loose, so you don't have to take it all the way out. There we go. And now we're ready to replace and put a new one on. Now we're going to replace the cable. As you can see, both ends are the same, so it doesn't matter which end you start on. And we're going to go to the top, run the cable through, go ahead and pull it out as far as it'll go. You're going to run the cable back through the handle. You're going to notice there's just a little bit of a guide here that follows the guide on your brake cable. And you can see the wedge to split the cable. So we're just going to line all that up and push it in like so. Then we can reattach the screw. This screw doesn't need to be tight, just snug. Okay. Now we can push the handle back on. Again, you just want this screw tight enough to hold the brake handle on. You don't want it overly tight or it won't function. You can see it's too stiff to function. Just want to back it off a little bit. Okay, now you're going to push the... Okay, now we're going to run the cable back through. You're going to run it through the net, and there's a guide right here. Just take your time and fish it through. And then you're going to go up to the next one, and then it's going to come back out of the netting. You can see there's another one on the inside of the frame. We're just going to fish it through. Take your time and don't get too discouraged. Okay, and use both hands to help push it through. Okay. Okay, now that we got that pushed all the way through, there isn't much cable here. You can just pull this cable and give yourself some more leverage, and you can see the cable here. You want that sleeve all the way inside of there so you can get as much of the cable as you can to work with on the bottom. See, I pushed that back. Okay, now we're going to run this cable in through the slot here. You want to make sure when you're running it in there that it's going in to the shaft on the bottom, and then it's going past this Allen head. And you can see it's pushed all the way in. Now we can tighten this back down using our number 3. And you just want to firm this up. You can tighten this down fairly tight. This is what's going to hold your brake. There we go. You're done. Now that we've got the cable rerun, we got our Allen head tight on the bottom. A couple things we want to do is test. If it ain't working right, wheel still spins. Make sure that it's not on the lockout position. Make sure that it's free from that little groove for the lockout. And then your brake should work freely. You can check it, moving it back and forth a couple times, making sure that it works both directions. A couple things you can do if it don't work properly. You can take a 10mm wrench and pull some of the slack out. By turning this here, you can pull the slack out of the cable. Once you get it where you need to be, you hold the top part. You can use a pair of pliers if you need, and you just lock the 10mm, and then that'll help take some of the play out of your cable.